Hello everyone, welcome to Commerce Piece. Friends, if a person wants to do a business, he can do in two ways. Either he can take up the production side or he can take up the distribution side. If a person is involved in the production of goods and services, then the production side of the business is called as industry, because industry totally deals with the transformation of goods and services into finished products. And the distribution side of the business is called as commerce, where commerce deals with the distribution of goods and services to the ultimate customers. Here, the industry can be of three types. The first is the primary, the second is secondary, and the third is the tertiary. Whereas the commerce is divided into two types. The first is trade and the second is auxiliaries to trade. In trade means the buying and selling of goods and services, and auxiliaries to trade are the removal of barriers that involves the transport, advertising, insurance, etc. So in today's video, let's discuss the difference between industry, commerce and trade. Let's now discuss the difference between industry, commerce and trade. The first point of difference is the meaning. When we talk about industry is concerned with the production of goods and services. As we have already discussed that the production side of the business activity is called as industry. So industry is dealing with the transformation of the raw materials into finished products. So what the industry is doing, it is taking up the production side. So industry totally deals with the production of goods and services. When we talk about commerce is concerned with the distribution of goods and services. Once the goods are produced by the industry, it is getting distributed with the help of commerce to the ultimate customers. So commerce is dealing with the distribution side of the business. The next is trade. Trade means the transfer of ownership of goods and services. Trade simply means the buying and selling of goods and services. So how the transfer of ownership is taking place? The seller is the owner of the goods. Once he is selling the goods to the buyer, there is a transfer of ownership from the seller to the buyer. In this way, we can say that trade means the transfer of ownership of goods and services. The next point of difference is creation of utility. Utility means usefulness, how the goods are useful to the ultimate customers. In case of industry creates form utility. How the industry is creating the form utility? As we all know that it is not possible for a human being to use the raw materials directly. So what the industry is doing, it is transforming these raw materials into finished products that can be used by the ultimate customer. So in this way, the industry is creating a form utility for the goods and services. Next is the commerce. Commerce creates place and time utility. As the commerce is involved with the distribution side of the business, what it is doing, how it is creating the place utility means it is transferring the goods from the place of production to the place of consumption with the help of the transport. So in this way, it is creating a place utility for the goods. And time utility means the goods are produced in bulk by the industry, so and it is not consumed at the same time. So what the commerce will do, it will store the goods in the warehouses and it will supply the goods whenever it is needed by the ultimate customer. So in this way, it is creating a time utility. So commerce is creating both place and time utility for the goods. The next is trade. Trade creates possession utility. As the possession of the goods is getting transferred from the seller to the ultimate customers, so trade is creating a possession utility. The next point of difference is the capital requirement. In case of industry, the requirement of capital is huge because it is gathering all the resources like men, material, machine and money, and it is involved in the production of goods and services. That's why the requirement of capital is huge in case of industry. In case of commerce, the capital requirement is less when compared to industry, as it is just dealing with the distribution side. So the requirement of capital is less when we are comparing it with the industry. When we talk about trade, less capital depends on the nature of business. As we all know that the trade is divided into two types, that is the home trade and the foreign trade. In case of home, when a person is taking up the home trade, that is the internal trade, the requirement of capital is less, and when a person is taking up the foreign trade, the requirement of capital may be more. So the capital requirement totally depends on the nature of business in case of trade. The next point of difference is the scope. When we talk about industry, it includes all the activities needed to produce the final product. So industry includes all the activities which helps in the production of goods and services. When we talk about commerce, it includes trade and aids to trade. The branches of commerce is, the first is the buying and selling of goods is called as trade, and the auxiliaries to trade is the transfer of goods from the place of production to the place of consumption. So auxiliaries to trade or aids to trade is helping the transfer of goods from the producer to the ultimate customers. When we talk about trade, it includes home trade, that is the trade that is conducted within the national boundaries, and foreign trade, the trade that is taking place between two countries, is called as foreign trade. The next point of difference is the risk. When we talk about industry, the risk involved in this is more. In case of commerce, the risk is less, and also in case of trade, the risk is less. When we talk about the next point of difference is the place of work. Industry includes firms, factories, mines and workshops. These are all the places of production, different places of production. In commerce, there is no particular place, as distribution takes place in the form of means of transport from one place to another. So when a person is taking up the distribution side of the business, he has to transfer the goods from the producer to the customers, and there are different types of transport. When a person is taking the internal trade, the transport means of transport will be different, and if he is taking up the foreign trade, the means of transport will be different. So in case of commerce, it totally depends on the type of business. In case of trade, trade takes place in the market. As we all know that buying and selling of goods and services takes place in the market. So trade is taking place in the market. The next point of difference is the ownership and control. The ownership and control is totally by the industrialist in case of industry. In case of commerce, the merchants are the owners and also the control bodies of commerce. In case of trade, the traders, the person who is taking up the buying and selling of goods and services is called as a trader. So these are some of the differences between the terms industry, commerce and trade. I hope you understood the difference and also a clear understanding of these three terms. If you like the topic, please do like, share and subscribe to Commerce Biz. Thank you.